Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Thank you, Mr. Secretary, for being here with us today. I represent Florida's 18th district in Central Florida. We're the largest ag district now east of the Mississippi, and within our district, we grow all sorts of things, but we've got 70% of Florida's citrus crop. Last October, Hurricane Ian, as you know, really racked our state, caused over $1 billion of damage to the ag industry, according to University of Florida estimates. 90% of our citrus crop was destroyed. There's not much you can do with the 10% remaining. It's not even cost effective to pick a lot of the fruit that is remaining. You were down in our district a couple of weeks ago in Bartow, and I appreciate you spending time down there. Back following Hurricane Irma in 2018, Congress gave USDA the authority to issue block grants to states to assist with those recovery efforts. And many of the growers I've spoken with absolutely cite that program with their ability to save their groves and get back on their feet again. 3 weeks ago, we had USDA Inspector General Fong here. I asked her the question about the efficacy of those programs. She said that, historically those have been very successful in helping folks get money quickly to get back on their feet again. Back in December, we passed the huge omnibus bill. Included among that, Congress appropriated $3.7 billion to extend USDA's emergency relief program to assist producers who experienced losses in 2022. Not crop insurance. I mean, obviously that's a different program, a different pot of money. Unfortunately, in this omnibus bill, there was no language specifically authorizing the use of those block grants. Don't know if that was just an oversight and trying to get that thing crafted and out the door or not, but we worked with your staff a couple of months ago trying to figure out if there was how we could interpret the language to see if it could be construed that way. It wasn't ultimately. We didn't think so. So we proceeded then to create a bill, the Block Grant Assistance Program Act of 2023. I've got 27 of 28 members of our Florida delegation on that. Both of our senators have a companion bill in the Senate. We're trying to get that pushed through. Ag Committee Chairman Thompson is supportive of it. We've just got a lot of other initiatives we're trying to get out the door. But my question, there actually is a question here. If Congress gives USDA the authority, will you commit to working with our producers to get that block grant program up and going?
Sure.
Okay. We're hoping we can get that done soon. Absent that, and I've learned quickly enough here, it's hard to get things done a lot of times. But when I talked to Undersecretary Bonnie back in January, and we were trying to figure out if there was language there, he said, we'll do what we can, and if there are creative other ways, we'll try to find ways to find some money to assist. Could you comment on what those might be in absence of getting that language?
I think you got a bigger problem.
Okay.
And the problem is that the first iteration of disaster assistance, ad hoc disaster assistance for 20 and 21 was $10 billion. This is $3.3 billion. So I think you're going to find that there's a significant delta between the demand and the need and the amount of money that's been appropriated. So the reality is it's not likely to make any farmer whole in the sense of providing assistance and help.
Right.
We have looked at ways in which we can try to get disaster assistance out more quickly. That's why we established a pre-filled application process for farmers with the ERP program. We ended up saving farmers about 1 million hours of time. And we got the checks out in the mail within 2 weeks of the applications being submitted. So that's the goal here, is to try to get the resources out as quickly as possible and use all the information that we have available to us to make it easy on the farmer.
So how much of that 3.7 that was appropriated has actually gone out the door?
Well, we're still in the process of completing the process on the ERP for 20 and 21. We have until June, folks have the ability to submit information. We haven't been able to put out the resources for 22 because we haven't fully completed collection of the crop insurance information and NAPA information from 2022. We need that in order to pre-fill the application, in order to be able to get people resources as quickly as possible.
Well,
The previous process, basically, there was months of time between the time the farmer would apply and the time they got the money. We're condensing it into weeks.
Okay. Well, we're now 6 months past the storm, and then
You can't issue the checks to all of the farmers, not just the Florida farmers, but the farmers in the West who have had drought, who have had smoke damage. I mean, there's a lot of people who have suffered serious problems, which is why we're concerned that the $3 billion is not going to be able to meet all of the demand.
Well, a lot of concern my folks have too, though, is, and you were in your opening testimony, we're talking about the need for more employees. The feedback I'm hearing from our folks is you don't have the folks in your offices that were there prior to COVID. And I don't know if we got folks still teleworking or what the situation is, but we
let's
often
be-
have phones that go unanswered because the people who they used to call aren't there answering the phones anymore.
Let's be clear about this. Because I'm the first secretary ever to come back to this job, I knew how many people work for the Department of Agriculture when I left, and I know how many people work for the department when I came back. There were 6,500 fewer people working for the department when I came back. So we are in the process of trying to rebuild the workforce, number one. Number two, we track the work that's being done. Loans are being, there hasn't been a drop-off in terms of the service to folks. In fact, I think our people at the FSA offices have done a remarkable job getting all of the disaster relief assistance out, getting the loans out, getting the CRP efforts out. They've really stepped up. And I'm happy, if you want to give me a specific office, I'm happy to have our folks take a look at that particular office. Happy to do that.
We can do that because that's honestly not the feedback I'm receiving, but Mr. Chairman, I yield back.
Ms. Letlow.